That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 25 with Mike and Alex. It's early. I've got the coffee. And now I keep doing these videos. And now I'm like, how did we not do this before, Alex? I feel like it's strange not if I were to do a podcast and not see you. Why didn't we think of this sooner?
Well, I mean, you did. I
That's
didn't
true.
want to do it. Yeah, I was just the video stuff, because now it's 6:45 on a Friday morning. We're doing it earlier because I'm going away this weekend, and you have some things going on. And I was like, fuck, I gotta wash my face and take a shave and do my hair. Like, ugh, yeah. Instead of just like rolling out of bed and
I
like,
rolled out of bed.
Sometimes we used to do podcasts and I wouldn't even wear pants. I gotta be honest. I don't know if I even but now it's like I feel like I have to get dressed.
So you're saying you would have like not even shorts or underwear, so your balls would be sitting on the chair? Is that what you're
No,
telling me?
I would have underwear on. That's kind of gross. But
Okay.
sometimes I would just sit in boxers and a t-shirt and do it.
But you can still do that now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've seen too many videos online of people who are like, they get up by accident like that, like you just did. And
my shorts.
Yeah, get up like that. Yeah. I mean, it's just I don't know. I when there's too many chances.
So
that
what
something
pants
can
are
go
you
wrong.
wearing right now? Do you have
I'm just wearing shorts, like black shorts, whatever.
Okay. I'm hoping you're not like you're doing a podcast in your house, or your in-laws. I'm hoping your soon to be in-laws. I hope you're not just you're rocking like, oh yes, I'm wearing my nice khakis. I'm getting
Well,
ready
we have
for
the whole
workday.
upstairs. We have the whole upstairs. There's my fiance's bedroom and her sister's bedroom up here, and a bathroom and a TV. So we got like the whole upstairs to kind of be like our little mini apartment. I mean, we have no privacy, but we still have like our own little mini apartment, so I can like walk around if I wanted to, like run from the shower. It's not like they're going to be standing there like, what are you wearing? They're not like that on top of us. But
Did your in-laws think from having this experience, they're like, we could rent out the top of this place and make some money?
I don't know. It's not a bad idea for them, to be honest. I feel like you can't have your own apartment unless you have your own door. But because there's no door to go up here. Like if they have steps in the back or something, like going to the house upstairs. Otherwise, it's just you can't do it. I wouldn't rent it.
Oh, because so you mean by door, like they would have to come in through the common area, and then there they are sitting on the couch, and you're coming back in from work, and you have to see the other person.
You got to be
it's the privacy.
No privacy, and there's no like wall. It's like it's a whole open area from the steps to the common area upstairs. So it's everybody could just hear everything. So it is what it is.
Feel you.
I'm very thankful that they're letting us stay here. But it is what it is. We're gonna be back in the city soon. Maybe next.
When is that happening? Really soon, right?
Mid-September, we'll be back. So be back to normal, sort of. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to have my life back a little bit. But it's been nice. Been nice that they've been taking us in and helping us out. So it's very thankful for that. But I also want to be back to my normal life and live in my own apartment.
When we did this first podcast, you did it from your own apartment, right? That's right. You did it from your own apartment, and then I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 episodes in, 5 episodes in, that was when you made the transition. I want to say, right, something like that.
Right. That's when I went back. That's when I came to Long Island, like late April, early May.
Yeah.
World we're in, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, everybody. I keep getting shit from my friend Leon, who I do the other podcast with, and he keeps saying I'm obsessed with time, and I'm obsessed with like looking back and referencing time. Maybe I am. I don't know. So I'm just
fan.
I just keep thinking.
Sports fan.
I keep thinking like, okay, that was week 5, and where was Jess in her pregnancy? And like, I don't know, all that shit just keeps popping.
What was your favorite song at the time? Yeah, like
what was my favorite song at the time? Right. Has there been new music produced? I guess there has been.
I mean,
it had to have been.
We're too old for new music, so it's like
we are too old for new music, which is scary because I remember when I was like 16, 17, and I would always be weirded out by people that were older and they didn't know what was going on. Now I'm like, holy shit, my bad.
Yeah, who is this little whatever guy rapper that's out there? I have no idea.
Little Bad Weather Fans.
Yeah, a little BWF, BWF. Oh man, so
yeah, all right.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's. Well, the NBA stopped for a couple days, so that happened. Yeah. That happened.
Good for them, man.
And then when are they? So this is Friday morning. Are they going to play tonight? Are they back tonight? Do we know that?
I'm not sure. I was a little busy at work. I missed like every moment of what happened. So this week, so I'm not sure.
Well, I have no excuse.
Like I know they boycotted, but
I have no excuse. I produce a sports radio show. I have no fucking clue.
Well, it's nothing's straightforward. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
think the
true.
Bucks took everybody by surprise by boycotting, like out of
They did.
nowhere. They just decided, hey, no, you know what? Screw this. We can't do this, and it made sense because it happened in Jacob Blake shooting happened in Wisconsin, right? So
Yeah,
they kind of felt the obligation, and
sure.
it felt like their families, and they felt it more, from their community. So I get it, but the players union they were definitely pissed. They're not going to say it, but they were like, "Dude, why couldn't you even call us? Like, you just decided to sit out.
Yeah.
They made the Magic look stupid. They took the court, and then came off, and then all the other teams have to boycott after that. And it's just, it's
Well,
good
you
though.
look
It
at
did the right thing.
you
Did
look at
the
the
right thing.
impact that it's had already. I mean, Major League Baseball teams stopping, hockey
Hockey,
teams as
yeah,
well, and then all the other
WNBA,
NBA teams. So
yeah.
they definitely sparked it. Good for them. I think it was great to see, even if it wasn't executed the way that the players union wanted. At least they did something. I thought that was admirable of them. And I don't.
You
Hopefully,
heard about the Mets thing yesterday? Did you hear about that with
with
the
Van
Wilpons?
Wagenen.
Yeah, Van Wagenen get caught. The Mets GM Brody Van Wagenen gets caught
Yeah,
on the hot
explain it to
mic.
everybody. That was fucking crazy. What a
He gets
weird.
caught on a hot mic right before a press conference. He's talking to two people. He's like, "Oh, this stays between the three of us," and he goes something along the lines of Manfred wants the commissioner of
Rob
baseball
Manfred,
wants Rob Manfred. I said I'm mixing up the
the
Wilpons
Wilpons. Yep.
and
No, I got you.
he wants so Manfred wants the Mets to take the field and then leave and then start the game an hour later, and then it's just. And it was like a whole publicity stunt. And he's like, these guys aren't playing. Like, what are you talking about? So Brody does this whole thing. And then it goes and somebody leaks it. It must have been somebody at MLB, that leaked it. It couldn't have been or some Mets guy that just leaked it. They probably hate the Wilpons. And it gets out there. Manfred looks like an idiot. And then the Wilpons throw Brody under the bus and they take Manfred's side. He's a close personal friend of mine. They call Brody and they spell his name wrong. His name is with the IE at the end. They spell it with a Y. And it's like, oh man, they make Brody apologize. And there's no way, in my opinion, there's no way Brody didn't know the mic was hot. There's no way he didn't know what was happening. He did it on purpose to get it out there. He's too smooth of a guy. He's too successful of an agent before he was a GM to make some kind of blunder like that, And props to him, man.
I mean, it's like I think it's the thing the Mets fans respect about him the most, right? Or at least, obviously, it's so super fresh. But what an utter nightmare and disaster for this. I mean, just the whole setup. Like, how did that happen? And then it gets a little spooked out. We're on these Zoom calls. Like, what the fuck am I saying before this thing started? And like, what's not that anybody's this a little different, but.
Well, yeah, we started the show and I was going like this, and scratching my nose. Like, oh shit, you hit record. I was like, messing with my just for like a second.
Yeah. I mean, only the Mets can make a move like that. As I scratch my nose, I have to do that after I see you scratching your nose. Can't help myself. It's just that only the Mets can make that kind of blunder or that kind of move and that kind of thing happen. And I mean, it was certainly entertaining. I mean, it was just like more Mets news. Here we go. But it was cool to see what they did on the field with the 42 seconds. And Dom Smith, I think, has captured the hearts of at least all the Met fans I've talked to. I mean, he's been amazing.
Been
really awesome.
Helps that he's crushing the ball too when he's playing.
Sure,
but,
sure. But just to see when somebody's raw emotion comes out like that, because I think, like I've mulled this over. I think the problem is people just don't understand how to like put yourself in somebody else's shoes and have somebody else's perspective. I think that's like the biggest problem with people. Like, I don't think everybody's meant to think like, not everybody's a racist, but it's just people are just so stupid and not understanding that like not everybody
selfish.
Yeah, it's like, what? I don't know what it's like to be a black guy. I mean, I just don't. But I want to listen. I want to hear. But I can't like to just poo-poo somebody because I had a different upbringing. It drives me utterly insane. So I just think we need to all do a better job of putting ourselves in somebody else's corner and feeling what they felt and listening because they had a different start than, or not even start, but, they go out and they're profiled differently. And I think seeing Dom Smith just pour out everything he had, all of his emotion, how he was feeling, I hope that goes a long way too. And for people that might not get it, they say, you know what? Wow. Like I like Dom Smith. and then let's see how he's feeling. I wonder why he's feeling like that, and maybe start to put it together. It's different than you.
Instead of shaming it, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. I put out a tweet. I didn't think the boycott was going to do anything. I think it did a lot more than I thought it would. But I
Yeah.
also said in the same tweet that, but I also understand that I'm not supposed to understand how they're feeling, because
Sure.
how am I supposed to understand? I grew up, I'm gonna give the cliche. I had a lot of black friends growing up, which I did, and I still do. And some of my close personal friends, I'm like, I consider family. And I've been in situations with them that they've been profiled, they've been
Right.
singled out, and that sticks with me, and that's why I always will
Mm-hmm.
take their side and their side. I mean, black people's side, and it's just with these kind of situations, because I get that I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
been in a situation where I'm upstate driving, and we were speeding in some random town. I was going to get my car fixed, and my uncle, he's a mechanic upstate. My buddy's he's black, and he was in the passenger seat. I'm driving, and I get pulled over, and they asked my license and registration. I give it to him, and then he goes, "And let me see your license." And then when have you ever been pulled over and they ask for the passenger's license? Like never. Like why
I've
would they
never
ask for
seen that
that?
in my life.
And they asked for it, and of course we were in college, and his ID was chalked because we were getting into bars, and to fake, it was like a fake ID. It was a real ID, but it was chalked. So then of course that gave him probable cause to search our car, and he searched my car. We sat on the curb, and we were sitting there with like, what the fuck is going on? And he searched our car, and then he didn't find anything, and then we got a speeding ticket. We drove away. I had a good thing. I had a good hiding spot for my little weed that was in the car.
That must have been a little nerve wracking.
It was a little nerve wracking.
Where was the hiding spot? Or can you not?
It was
say?
a little coin pouch that I had that was underneath the steering wheel, and he didn't know where he couldn't find it. Some upstate hit cop, and we got away with it. So he knew there was something in the car, but that wasn't because he I could have been just by myself, and he would.
You would never gone there.
Definitely, he would have never searched the car. Is the point, We were, we're in college. Of course, we had weed. You know what I mean? Like there's things like that, But it is what it is, man. And it's just there was no reason for him to ask for my buddy's ID, and that's the point of it. And there's I have a bunch of stories like that, and I'm white, and you know what I mean. And I have stories like that just from having black friends. So like I get it, and I get that they're singled out, and they really are, and it sucks. So that's why I can't understand what they're going through. Like we had the whole podcast about Deshaun Jackson. Look how we felt as Jewish people when Deshaun Jackson said things, and it's just this is their life 24/7.
Yeah, right.
So,
exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
That's why I said I don't know when it happened. I was like, you're right. Maybe nothing will happen, but maybe something will. And I think too, when you're living in a moment, you don't know the implications that it will have on the history. You don't know in 20, 30 years from now what that implication will be. Like, I thought it was fascinating too. It was 4 years to the day of the Colin Kaepernick taking a knee is when the NBA players sat to protest. And, look at the impact that has had. It's been remarkable. So I just was like, you know what? Maybe it won't. Maybe this will be a blip, but maybe not. I think when history looks back at everything that's happened in 2020, that this will be a major part of it for the better. I really do. Mm-hmm. I hope so, at least. And I don't know. I don't know what the better means, and I don't know where we will be in 20, 30 years. I hope better than now. Oh my God. But I just hope that it's, something good came from this. And I look at all these all the other teams, all the other leagues, they're say what you want about the NBA. Like they do start trends and people follow. They said we're shutting down the league because of COVID. Other leagues shut down. Now it was inevitable. They were all going to get there.
They had to eventually.
But they were all like, yeah, I know, but we can't shut down. And I know Rudy Gobert had it, and it forced them their hand to do it. But they still were the first ones, and they did it, and people followed suit, and the rest is history.
Well, that's also why they can't, like Kyrie, people are like, say sorry to Kyrie, and it's not, you can't, what Kyrie wanted to do and not even have the league is just not realistic. You can't shut down the league and not do it if you have this opportunity to finish the season. There's so much money on the line. Yeah. And the NBA players and the owners, and they're doing everything that they can to listen to the players and do what they want. And they allow visitors in the bubble. They're doing so many things to try to make sure that the players are happy. And while saying, like, listen, we have to get this in. We have these contracts. You guys want this money on your contracts in the future. You have to play these games, and you have more of a voice when there's 50 million people watching a game than when you're just, to your 500,000 Twitter followers, tweeting. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a big difference. And people can say, oh, the ratings are down. The ratings are down. Yeah, they're down a little bit, but it's also the first round of the playoffs. Not many people watch that. And the last 8 games of the regular season, not many people watch that. As the playoffs go on, we get to the bigger matchups. We get rid of the Magic. We get rid of the Nets. We get rid of these crappy teams. I had to mention that. Then we'll be able to we'll have the better rivalry games. You know what I mean? It will get more intrigue. And I think the ratings will start to go up, especially, given it's summertime. But we'll see.
Well, a couple of points on that. First of all, I'll never understand the people that have to point out the people that point out that the ratings suck are the people that don't like the NBA. The people
They're not watching anyway. Yeah,
the PBR. The people that, like, for example, I'll never understand this, but the people that are like, oh, this is the NBA players boycotting. This is not a boycott. This is just a suspension of a day. It's a headline grabber. Nobody cares. Nobody watches it. It's like, okay, the people that are saying that nobody cares don't watch anyway. The people that do watch think it matters. So shut up.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of everybody that has an opinion that says that nobody cares are the ones that don't. If you don't like it, don't like it. But people do, I'm sorry.
Millions and millions of people.
There are people that are into basketball. As much as it pains you to see, like, there are people that are into basketball, and it was just another opportunity for the people that don't like the NBA and don't like their messaging to go, no, this is just a false day, and they're just doing this to grab headlines. I mean, you're wrong.
Wrong.
That's not what you're just blatantly wrong, and it's sad by that. And you don't want to watch the league anyway. And quite frankly, nobody cares. People that like the NBA, and they're going to continue to like the NBA. The ratings are down. Yes, it's also a crazy season. This is not your traditional year. If everything ran as planned and there was no pandemic, and right now, obviously, it's August, I was thinking about Kevin Durant returning to the Nets practice in 30 days. There wouldn't be games anyway. But to sit here and say, oh, the ratings are down, the NBA's in trouble, it's like, come on.
Well, it's the summertime also there, and people can go outside. That's the thing. That's what baseball has trouble in July and August.
Sure.
Having good ratings, and they're the only sport going on because it's 90 degrees outside. People want to go sit outside, especially with the pandemic. That's the only thing you can do is take a walk. That's the only thing that's normal is sit by a pool or sit by the beach. That's the only thing you can do that's normal. Sit in a park and have a barbecue. That's the only thing that we're allowed to do. So I'm not going to sit home and especially also a lot of these games are going on during the day, during the week. Like people are still working.
Different. It's just so
1:30.
So
I'm gonna stop working and watch the Bucks and the Magic. Like, no, that's not. Come on, dude. Like, I got things to do. Like, I'll have it on in the background, yes, and I'll pay attention the last few minutes. But I'm not sitting there locked in to.
It's different. It's so different. I'm just so irritated. I'm so irritated by everybody that just doesn't like the NBA to begin with. So, and then in a lot of these people in their mind, they look at the NBA as a big liberal front. So let me now take my soapbox and point out, ratings are bad. NBA's in trouble because they don't like the NBA because in their point of view,
they don't like black people. Some of them just don't like black people.
Like, let's just shit on the league.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think that the NBA is in an unhealthy place because they're putting Black Lives Matter on the court, you're just looking for it. You want to create your narrative, and you're happy to see that, and it fits into the story that you want to tell.
That's true.
Don't watch.
That's true.
I don't care.
And instead, it sucks to force the conversation, but look at us. We're two white guys and we're having this conversation. And that's what the Bucks and the players and all of them wanted to do by sending out. They wanted us to have this conversation, Yeah. We don't really want to talk about this, and we want to use sports as a distraction, but it's a good thing that we are talking about it. And it's a good thing that we are putting it out there. Like right now, to transition, I want to talk about Porzingis' MRI. I want to be like, hey, look at this guy. He's hurt, man. He's down, and they're screwed. And if Porzingis can't play, and for Game 6, and if he, they're not giving us the results of this MRI, and Dolan Trump is great. He's like, I want to see the results. Like, give me the test results or whatever. This is a conspiracy, and things like that. And we're I want to see what it is. I don't know, man. If he's hurt, man, I think there's something wrong, man. I don't know. I don't know what you think about it. Like they keep saying game time decision, but they're not telling us what's wrong, what happened, you know.
Yeah,
So they
there
found something.
seems there's something seems fishy about that. Something seems fishy. It's always funny, like with these big injuries. Sometimes the ones that you don't hear about, it's like the Kyrie Irving shoulder. And it was like, wait, he played
The
the other day.
shoulder
His
saga.
shoulders now he can't play, and it's just something creepy about that, as opposed to when you're watching on the court. And for example, Gordon Hayward, and not the horrific injury from a few years ago, but recently, and he's out for 3 to 4
Yeah.
weeks, and you kind of like tangible evidence of what happened. Not wait a minute, he's not playing. We don't really know what's going on. Is there some serious issues with that
Mhm.
knee?
There's no moment. There's no
I'd be
moment.
scared.
Yeah.
I'd be scared. He's got just such a different kind of body that it just seems like it always seems to be breaking down. The Mavs are very lucky that they have maybe the future of the league in Luka. I mean, so
Yeah.
they're kind of they made a good trade with the Hawks that's going to keep their franchise relevant for the
Trae
next
Young's
10 years.
incredible.
Trae Young's
That's
great,
one of
but
those trades. Yeah. He's not him. He's not Luka. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird trade because the Hawks. It wasn't like the Hawks got nothing in return. I mean, the
Yeah.
Hawks got their next guy for the next decade. That's going to be, I mean, a perennial all-star. Guy's
Mhm.
unbelievable all over the court.
Wasn't like they traded Kevin Knox for Luka, you know, in that trade.
Right, where you're just like, oh my
what the hell?
God.
Yeah.
That we
Hawks
just
like,
made-
all right, well, Trey's averaging 30
Right.
points a game. We'll be all right.
But
You know,
it's
kind
just
of a thing. Yeah.
Luka might be like, next level transcendent. They're both babies. I mean, oh my God, they could be our kids. You know, they're so
Mhm.
young. I mean, I'm really like 16 years old. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
So I guess they could. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't like the Hawks got nothing, and they got that extra pick, which I believe they used
Mhm.
for Cam Reddish. I want to say that they
Is it?
got the
Could be right.
who
Yeah.
knows what how maybe it wasn't him. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Whatever
they got
it
the
is.
extra
Yeah.
pick.
Who cares? Yeah.
So I know they got more assets than that, but if Luka's, the next
Luka's
LeBron,
Luka. Yeah.
right, then it doesn't matter how
That
good
step
Trey
back
is.
game winner was incredible. Yeah.
It was
How about
great.
that though, man? How about that play? You know, you get Kawhi switches off, and then you have Reggie Jackson guarding Luka in the last. Like, how did that happen? Like, how does that happen? I know it's basketball, but and Carlisle forced the switch, you know, on the play, and it's just,
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know how does that. That's just. I don't know if it's poor coaching on the Clippers part, but you know, you have Paul George, you have Kawhi, two big guys that can guard the wing, and you get your point guard on the best player and on the Mavs. I mean, that's kind of rough.
Is the term with the pick and roll and like when they're like, all right, we got to switch. Has that been more of a tension for fans in the last 2 years? Was this something people talked about 10 years ago? Like it was just, I feel like the word, we are
Switch.
just, especially when we
Switch.
get to the playoffs, it's like, are they going to switch? Are they going to go straight up? And it's just like, what adjustments will the team make? Love what Doc Rivers did in game 3. He decided to switch on defense, and it really gave some trouble. Like, I swear to God,
Wasn't like that as a kid, yeah.
or maybe it's just I'm noticing it more, but it feels like
Yeah.
every playoffs we're like, Jeff Van Gundy. Oh yeah, they had to make that
fucking
switch.
switching. Yeah,
They're switching now, and what's the adjustment back? I'm like, every time, I know I'm not a coach, and I have no idea what I'm just.
You're not crunching the
I like the
numbers.
NBA, and I'm a fan.
Which percentages?
But I don't know, and I listen. I'll plug the other podcast. Like I listen to Real Talk Basketball with Rex Walters, and he has all these coaches on, and their
Mhm.
brains are just working at a different. They're coaches. They see the court way differently than we ever will. They're former players,
Like
but I just always
time and this and that. Yeah. Like
But I swear, every time we get to the playoffs, it's like such a point. And analysts, the teams that switch and don't switch, and it's like that becomes the focus of everything.
Mm-hmm. It's true. No, it's true. And I think for Knicks fans, it became a thing because Mike Woodson, when he was the coach, he was heavy. Like his defense, he wanted people to switch. It was like everybody's switching.
Yeah.
He's like, and it just became a thing. He's like, why are they always fucking switching?
Right.
It just became like a thing, like, you know?
Right.
So
Right,
that's
right.
like, I think that's why it's in the Knicks fans vernacular, but it's kind of funny in that perspective. But yeah, you're right. It has become a thing. It's one of those, you know, make fans look smart kind of a thing. So.
Right. You know what you're talking about.
Switching. Rotating on defense. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that switch because now I got Dinwiddie one-on-one with Boban. He's going to take him to the basket. You got to make that. You got to make that play. I know what I'm talking about. I know basketball.
Oh man, Did you see Kawhi block Boban? That when
Mm.
he grabbed it, like it just was like hand to hand. It was just
Oh, it's a big
it's great.
man.
Yeah,
That's
man,
a big dude.
he's a creepy dude, but
People love. I mean, he seems to be
yeah,
like the ultimate teammate. People love him anywhere they
yeah.
go.
And Marcus Morris, did you see that clip? He was like they were going. Boban knocked someone down. I don't remember who it was, and he picked him up. And then, Boban was standing next to Marcus Morris on the line, and then Boban said sorry or something like that. And Marcus
Yeah,
Morris, they caught him on video, on audio, like, you must be the nicest guy in the league like I've ever met. Like, he's just,
why are you so
Marcus
nice?
Morris is great, man. He's inside these Mavericks players' heads, man. He is in their heads. They're not sure if he stepped on Luka's ankle. Porzingis wants to fight him every 5 seconds. Like he's the ultimate agitator, and that's kind of
Yeah.
why I want to bring him back to the Knicks, but not my first choice. It's Joe Harris, Gallinari, then Morris, and then Bertans. Those are the four. One of those four guys we got to bring in. I was just talking about that on I was just on the State of New York Knicks podcast yesterday. My boy Slizzy, and we were talking about that, and we want one of those four, and that's what it is.
You're not getting Joe Harris. You are not getting.
Oh, it's
Joe
happening.
Harris.
It's happening.
I'll put a friendly wager on
I
it.
hope they're
Not happening,
no.
bro.
I will not.
No way.
I will not wager that. But I also know that the Knicks could overpay, and that's scary too. But I'd rather overpay for Joe Harris than Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet scares the crap out of me.
I would. After seeing him torch the Nets in the playoffs, that guy's good.
He's Mike Conley, man. It's Mike Conley all over again. Mike Conley got the Supermax in the Grizzlies, and we've talked about that too. But and 0-time All-Star, and it's just, yeah, I can't overpay for a guy like that, man. Just find one. He's gonna be Raymond Felton. You know what I'm saying?
No, he'll be better than Raymond Felton. If he was added to the Knicks, and I'm on the record of saying like 4 to 5 wins, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm saying 10 to 15. I think
10 to 15.
Maybe that's extreme.
So you think he's going to get that? He's get better,
I think he's going to get better. I mean, he doesn't miss shots. The guy doesn't miss shots. That Raptor team, woo. I mean, I know the Nets.
They also played a dead Nets.
I know they played a dead Nets, but the Nets were playing well. The Nets were playing well, and I after seeing that, I'm convinced they're going to beat the Bucks, or the Heat, first I got to get past Boston, which will be a great series. These will be a great series. I owe you an apology, by the way.
About?
You seem so serious.
About what?
No, you were right. I don't think the league should have done the regular season. I think these guys are burned out now, and they want to go home. Yeah. And I didn't factor
they had the bubble games too, the exhibition games first, and that's a long time now. Yeah.
I didn't factor in. They should have done like a 2 to 3 game regular season just to kind of like a light jog before you
seeding
sprint.
Games. Yeah, seeding games.
Because I didn't factor in how draining it would be to be inside, one spot for 3 months. I think in our, in our heads, and we'd all quarantined ourselves, so we understood it a little bit. But the idea of guys staying in there and not knowing, like in our head, I'm like, okay, they're going on an Orlando vacation, but 2 months later, and you're in the same place and you can't leave, and you're doing that and doing that. I don't think we factored in how much it would emotionally drain these guys, and that now I think they're kind of all ready to leave, and they're playing every other day too. This is like it's basketball day off, and it's just a lot. So I think you're right. If they just started maybe 2-game regular season, right now we'd be inching closer to the end of the playoffs and not still in the first round with games at like 3-2, or maybe they should have done best out of 5.
In the first round, they should have done best out of 5.
But I know it's money. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the problem. Everything I just said doesn't matter because they needed the revenue and they wanted the money. They did. You made some fair points, and I didn't assess that when I was looking at the regular season into the playoffs. So I apologize.
It's okay. I accept it.
Thank you.
It's they needed the local TV money and they needed the national TV money. Now they're getting their money back for TNT. You hear Charles Barkley on TV every day. It's pretty funny. He's like, "Man, this is like a real job, and I got to come in every single day. This is crazy," and it's pretty funny. But he's in. It's getting enough for them, and the NBA players, like, you talk about like they're in these fancy hotels. They get whatever they want, free food. They're at the pool. But after a while, it's like you're on a college campus. I mean, you went away to school too, and it's just. after a while, you're on this campus and you're just like, ugh, can I go home? But at least when you're on campus, you can go home if you wanted to. You're like, all right, I
you
want to
can
go home, see my
go.
parents for the weekend, go to a friend's college down, a few towns over. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like, you can do something. They're
you can,
stuck. They're
you,
just like
you're
on a
stuck.
campus. And they
Yeah,
can't,
you
they're
can
like
walk
prisoners. They're like prison,
walk
so,
around. You can go to play. I mean, even for college,
mhm.
you can leave. You can go to the town. You can go on a hike. I know it's
Yeah.
a
There's so many things you
weirdo, but I
can
mean, you
do.
can just do whatever you can do whatever you want. I don't know why I said a hike.
Yeah.
I hate hikes. I hate hikes. I could
Go
not hate
backpacking
hikes
through
more.
the woods.
I don't like that stuff. I like going for a walk. I'm a big fan of walks.
Mhm.
Huge fan of walking and exploring cities, but I don't like it in a
Listening to the
nature setting.
podcasts. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a personal thing of mine. I love going to a
Same.
city and exploring it on foot, and then being like an
Mhm.
expert on this as much as I can, but not as much in nature. I'm like, I don't,
Same.
I don't,
I
I
think
don't, I don't.
it might be a
mm,
Jewish thing. I mean, to be honest.
Really?
Okay.
Is that
No,
a?
I'm only kidding.
I was like,
I'm not
I
a
think
big
Jews
nature guy
love
either.
nature. Everybody goes to camp.
Yeah, I'm going to camp, sure, but as
Nature.
adults, I didn't go to sleepaway camp, to be honest. But I'm not a nature guy. Me and my fiance Hannah, we're not nature people. We're beach
No.
people. We're beach bums. If we could find a beach, we're gonna sit there like all day, and that's
Yeah.
our thing together. But going to hike in the woods and dealing with the insects and
Ugh.
all this other crap, it's
No.
just like it just doesn't interest me. I mean, if it's me and my friends and it's like 10 guys, and maybe one day, like if I do a hiking trip when I'm older and I need to get away from the family and things like that, I'm sure I'll get into that.
Yeah. The
But
problem
to
is
go drink or something, but other than that,
here's the issue. If you can come home in the same day, it's fine. But the thought of
right,
then
sleeping,
having to
yeah.
put in it's going to be 98 degrees. It's going to be fucking bugs all over you. Like it's all fun. It's all fun in the moment. Oh, we're having beers. We made some burgers. And then that moment comes where you're like, I drank too much. It's hot.
There's no bathroom.
There's no bathroom. And then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's 2:42, 3:15. You go, oh no, I have to do another 10 hours of this. Not good. That's where it freaks me out. And that's where I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to be in a nice air conditioned room, or even if it's not air conditioned, which I did here for a few days, like at least I'm in a bed. I
yeah.
don't
Let's
I don't
rent out a
like the
cabin
nature
in the
thing.
Catskills. Let's rent out a cabin by a lake in the Catskills over or like
Yeah.
in Vermont instead of like staying in a tent on the
Ugh.
floor.
People like
you
that,
know,
I guess, right? People are into
hey
it.
man, teach their own.
Yeah,
Teach
and
their
like I
own.
started this podcast, I have to understand someone's perspective. Like I could see, like if you're into nature, that's got to be like the ultimate high. Like, oh, this
Mm.
is great. Maybe,
This is
maybe we
great.
do
There's
it.
nobody around.
You
Yeah,
want to do a
no
nature hike?
electronics.
Bad weather fans go camping. Me and you.
Yeah, let's do
Well,
it.
this is.
We'll
I was gonna
climb
say
Mount Everest.
we'll pitch tents together. Sorry,
That sounds really bad.
I'm just saying. I started this with I owe you an
Maybe you don't get the
apology.
pitching a tent reference. I don't know if you got that, but
No,
I'm
I
not going to
got it.
explain it.
An
Okay.
erection. I understand. I know what I'm saying here, bro. I know what I'm doing.
Your
Jeez.
facial expression didn't show that you got it, so I'm sorry. That's let's change the subject. So
Okay, we could.
Porzingis' knee, yeah. So
Yeah.
he,
Well, yeah. No,
no,
you're just happy to see. Are you? Are
I'm
you
not happy
rooting?
he's hurt. I'm not, as a person, but it's a little different because the reason why I was so for the trade and not paying a max contract and stuff like once I calmed down, because once the trade happened, I was pissed because remember how it happened. It was like Woj tweeted Knicks might be trading Porzingis. It was like what?
It was
Like what?
Super
What?
Bowl.
What? What?
Super
And then
Bowl
all of a
week.
sudden, like, what'd you say?
It was Super
What'd you
Bowl
say?
week.
Yeah, exactly. And it just came out of nowhere. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like another tweet a few minutes later, Knicks traded Porzingis to the Mavericks, and everybody just started throwing things on, in the wind, like hypothetically, and it just went crazy. But then once I calmed down and I saw the trade, I saw the stories of what happened. I saw, he wanted a max contract right away. He was acting like diva-ish. He was mentored by Melo, and Melo, he's not Melo. And Melo can, his actions, even Melo's actions towards the end were kind of getting under my skin a little bit because it's like, yeah, Melo, you're acting like you're still this big superstar, but you're not anymore. And you need to change your game. You need to change your mentality. Like you need to relax. But it's kind of hard for superstars to change. They need to be humbled a little bit. And Patrick Ewing went through that at the end of his career with the Knicks too. And that's kind of, he wouldn't take a lesser role. And that's kind of why they thought they had to trade him, which was stupid. But Melo, so Porzingis is coming in. He's acting like he's Melo. Meanwhile, Melo used to be a top 3 to 5 player in the NBA, and he's a celebrity. And it's like Porzingis, you are not him. Like you shouldn't be acting like him. Like calm down. You haven't done anything. You've been to the All-Star game once, and then you blew out your knee. Like chill. So that's something that I calmed down with. And once I saw the deal and I saw that we got rid of Hardaway, which I liked Hardaway a lot. We got rid of Courtney Lee's contract. We got the 2 picks. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a deal because Porzingis can't stay healthy. And one injury to Porzingis, and this is going to happen. So now this is going into next season. You got this MRI. So I'm kind of like, if he's hurt, I'm going to be happy. It's not because of the person.
I know.
Porzingis is not like on the precipice of getting his big deal. He got his big deal. If he gets hurt, he's still paid. He's still okay. He's going to be fine. He'll recover. He'll have a career. Like, I'm not an animal. I just want to make that point. And I know that's what they're going to do. If he goes hurt and Knicks fans celebrate, they can be like, Knicks fans are such pieces of shit celebrating people getting hurt. I'm sorry.
I understand that. I
know you get it. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Okay. Well, I'm looking right at your face. It's hard not to think that. All right. I'm sorry. I'll try to do a better job. I do think Porzingis, he definitely got a little ego quick. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like it went from nobody, and I understand he probably came in with a big chip on his shoulder, as he should, like booed. I mean, I know me, I'd be like, I'm going to prove these people wrong, and I'm going to show them that I have talent and that they have no idea what they're talking about. So I get that. So I could see where then, all of a sudden you're like, okay, wow, this is a good pick. Like they nailed this. Like they really got this. They nailed this pick to, okay, I'm in New York. So I imagine you're in the biggest city in the world. People didn't think you were great. You're now proving them wrong. Like your head probably starts to inflate. And then now he's got this ego, and now he hates management because of everything that happened, right or wrong. Right. And you just see it was like the perfect storm to create what had happened. And now, he's in Dallas, and the rest is history.
Yeah. And honestly, we've talked about this like at nauseum, if that's even a term. I'm not sure if I'm using it right, but
I'm not sure either.
A lot. But we talked about it a lot. We'll go on at our reading level, and it's honestly it's every time Porzingis hits the jump shot, everybody goes crazy. It's like, can we relax? Like, it's not about the Knicks. What the Knicks got back in the trade, yes, they probably could have gotten like another player, maybe another pick, and but this pick next year is the whole trade. It's the whole trade for the Knicks because Dennis Smith Jr. stinks. DeAndre Jordan's on the Nets. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear about Trey Burke since they released him. He was on the Sixers. They got him back only because of Willie Cauley-Stein opting out. So I don't want to hear anybody talk about Trey Burke on the Mavericks. Tim Hardaway Jr. He's a good player, and I really liked him, but he's a little overpaid. Courtney Lee has had more DMPs than I don't even know. Name the worst player in the Nets. Then it's kind of
he's on the Knicks now.
Who? Oh yeah. Theo Pinson. I couldn't think of his name. I was trying to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Courtney Lee and Theo Pinson had the same amount of DMPs, I'm sure, and DMP CDs. So it's kind of getting to that. It's just relax. And Porzingis is 19-9, 20-10, whatever his averages ended up being, because he did play well in the regular season bubble. But now playing every other day, like we said, and his body can't handle it. And he's hurt. And he hurts his other knee, not the one that he tore up. And we're just waiting for these MRI results. And they're saying it's quote unquote game time decisions, and he keeps sitting out, and he's not playing. He's done. And I'll be shocked if he plays again. So
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Mm-hmm. There's still a chance. Maybe because of his history, obviously I know where your mind's going, but I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't be stunned if he was back for the game, and having a couple days off indirectly probably helped. I would think, that he got to rest up if it's something that he can recover from. And there's not the every other day schedule. Like now there's a couple of days off. Maybe he's healed up a little bit. That probably helped him indirectly, of course. So we'll find out. I really hope those 2 picks are really good. Or should I say really bad is what I'm saying. And I hope the Knicks just botch who they're going to take. But,
it's because your Nets fan hate is coming out.
Oh, can I reference something that annoyed me this past week?
Sure.
It was Nets Daily on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Why I don't understand. Like, this is so annoying. Like, after the Greg Popovich rumors, to then go reference, like, I don't know the tweet. I don't have it in front of me, but it was like, well, we got Greg Popovich. Watch out, Knicks. It's like, let me just say something. The Knicks are not the Nets' problem. The teams the Celtics are an issue. The Raptors are an issue. The Bucks. The Knicks suck. Like, I'm just, like from a purely wins and losses. Yeah, I hate the Knicks and they suck and I want to beat them. but we have to get over this idea of just
Of
like
taking over the
always
town.
bringing
Yeah.
them in. How about we just win games and like be
Thank you.
good? It's just like the Celtics. That's the rivalry. Those Celtic fans hate Kyrie. Those games,
Mhm.
like those games, would be awesome. Like
Right.
Nets in Boston, that'd be fun to watch.
Well,
I'm
Kyrie
just
was
saying.
scared to play in Boston this year. He was
Well,
injured.
he was hurt.
Quote unquote injured both
Yeah,
times. Yeah.
but those are the
Sorry.
things they should be worried about.
Yeah.
Not the Knicks. I'm so like
No,
God,
and
we have to as a
that's
fan base
yeah.
stop worrying so much about that. And maybe if
Mhm.
you go back on this podcast, you hear it come out of me like, oh,
But you're
guys are the
joking.
best.
You're half joking. You're
I'm
not
half
really
joking. You
concerned.
got it. You
Yeah.
know me. I want to win.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't care. I want to win
Right.
games.
Right.
The rest will come with it. The rest will come with
That's
it. It's not don't worry about that stuff. I just get irritated by Knicks fans. It's annoying. They just annoy me. Just get on my nerves.
Yeah. It's
As
a
people, I'm
friendly
sure they're
rivalry.
fine people. But it's just like
No,
Knicks fans.
that's the thing.
It's just sports. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So and then part two, when everybody poo poos like, oh, that's aren't getting Greg Popovich. Why would he? It's like, let me say something. Greg Popovich has not denied it. He's not
No.
come out there and they said not true. So when everybody said the Nets could not get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they did. Okay, now
Yeah.
they did. So to say
Whatever
that
the terms of however it happened, they got him.
they did,
You know,
yeah. So you don't have to mention that. Yeah, I know you have to sneak that in because he fucking hurt himself. All right, they got him. Okay,
They got him. They did.
They did. They got him. Okay, end of
Listen,
story.
They got
him.
Kyrie.
He's on their team.
Kyrie could
They
have
got
won
the two
anywhere
biggest
else,
free
too.
agents.
Yeah.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
wanted to go there.
Mhm.
They did. That's where they signed.
Two of the
That's where
three
they wanted
biggest
to go.
free agents they got. Yes. No, it's true.
So this idea
squad,
that
yeah.
like stop with this nonsense of the Nets wouldn't get popped. They might. It's not off
Yeah.
the table. Don't be
It's not.
stunned if it did happen. The guy has a relationship with Durant and Kyrie. The Spurs are going nowhere. He's 71 years old. If he wants another championship, his opportunities in Brooklyn, not in San Antonio. Now I don't know. Maybe this is all hypothetical, but the guy did not. They have not said no. I'm going to be with the Spurs. No one said anything. And you got to remember, Sean Marks and Pop, he used to be there.
Mhm.
Some of the
They have
assistant
a
coaches,
relationship. Yeah.
I have our former Thiago Splitter is a former Spur. He's on the bench. There are relationships there. It's not impossible. So I know it's probably unlikely, but when people go out and they say not possible, it's the Nets, not happening. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I think there's also a possibility, and I'm not doing this to rain on your parade, is that Popovich is using the Nets as leverage to get more money out of the Spurs.
Maybe.
But it's also a real thing that he could come to the Nets because Pop is very liberal, and Brooklyn's a very liberal city, and it's very like a liberal area in New York, and he's very outspoken, politically. And he would fit in very well in the New York, Brooklyn area. He really would.
Yeah.
And is that so? And it would, Pop is old and he's only ready to coach for another 3 years, 4 years, I'm sure. And,
Right.
The Nets have that's their window and it. And so it's that it's really not that crazy. There's also just part of me thinks that he's using them for negotiating, and I'm not even saying that to be a dick, but it's just hard for me to imagine somebody like Popovich leaving the Spurs. Like, imagine Belichick leaving the Patriots at this point.
But Brady left the Pats. I mean, stuff.
Yeah,
happens.
but there's a precedent for quarterbacks leaving. Favre played on a different team. Montana played on a different team. Peyton Manning played on a different team. Johnny Unitas a different team. Joe Namath a different team. There's a precedence for the quarterback. The coach thing is not.
Phil Jackson.
Really, I mean, Phil Jackson did, I guess. Vince Lombardi did at the end. If we're going back to the football, so there is, but it's just, I can't see it. Especially the Spurs. They're such a small town. It's their only team in that city, and it's just, I can't wrap my head around it.
Okay, I get that, but I'm just saying it is. I don't. At least you're coming in from a rational perspective. The people that come on laugh like, I would laugh like the Nets aren't getting Greg Popovich. Like he might.
He's not coming to the Nets 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not leaving the Spurs to come to the Nets 3 years ago.
Right. He's not coming. He's like, I'm coming to the Nets, and I think that they're going to do a good job developing.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson, I love him. I'm coming to the Nets. He's not doing that.
That guy cannot make a layup. I cannot understand it for the life of me. He cannot finish around the rim. I love Rondé. He was a good defender. Really good when you switched on defense because he could guard multiple positions. Boy, that guy cannot finish. Damn it. I have so many
Yeah.
just like watching these
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
But
He was like Jason Kidd for the Knicks in the playoffs. That one time
They
he
didn't.
couldn't hit a shot. He went
Yeah,
0 for the
well,
playoffs, I think, or 1 for the playoffs.
gotcha. That's all I
Anyway,
wanted
but
to
I'm
get
over
that.
it. I'm over it. Yeah.
I just wanted to get that in. I had to
No,
get that
and
in
it's
because
fair.
it's a possibility.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I'm curious. What is your overall summary and take as a Nets fan of this season this year? It was a weird year, completely weird year, starting with last offseason into now. What's your thoughts on the
Yeah, it was
season
disappointing. It was
to
a
put a
very
bow on it?
disappointing, very disappointing season. It was very
Mhm.
disappointing. It was.
Okay.
I mean, I know what happened too with everything in the pandemic, so that was a shifter. Who knows how it would have gone moving forward if they were starting to finally play their best basketball. They beat the Lakers on the road. They beat the
Yeah.
Celtics on the road. They were stringing together some good wins, like good wins. LeVert put up 50 versus Boston. Dinwiddie had a big game in LA. They were playing really well. But overall, it was highly disappointing. I mean, Kyrie Irving was a major disappointment. He played in 20 games, and you never got to see a rhythm of him on the court. I can't tell you, like, oh, yeah, he didn't play well with his teammates. He wasn't there. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't enough time. Um,
Mhm.
Happy with what the silver lining was Karras got better. Joe Harris got better. Jared Allen got a little bit better. But overall, it was a major disappointment.
Mhm.
Kenny Atkinson was fired. The
Yeah.
coaching now, the infight. You see the problems that have developed with Kyrie and Durant with the coaches, and you see the shift in culture, and now becoming just. But it's about wins.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, this team will be judged on what they do moving forward because they'll have Kevin Durant, and we'll see what happens. But a major disappointment for sure.
Okay. That's fair. That's a fair, honest take. You're not delusional. Like, no, this was a part of the plan. It wasn't about this year. You guys wanted it to be a part. You wanted to win this
Yeah, I
year
want
and
to
then
win.
have Durant add to it.
Of
You
course.
thought it was okay. We had 42 wins last year. This year we're going to get 50, and then we get Durant, and we're going to get 60, and then we're going to keep. That was the progression that you thought was going to happen. And
Yeah.
obviously the pandemic hit everybody. So but it's
Right.
kind of like then the pandemic hit, and Kyrie got hurt, and he had his issues, and it's just the Atkinson thing was a major black eye in the franchise, and I'm not even saying that as a trolling move. Like that was the major, like at least give him the season. I mean, the guys in the playoffs and the two major guys that are taking up most of the cap space aren't even playing. It's just
Well, they knew with
crazy.
Durant he wasn't going to play, so I don't
Yeah,
like
but then
with
Kyrie,
Kyrie, yes,
yeah,
but it's not fair to
yeah.
be like this is how people troll Net fans, right? Two free agents, X amount of money, combined games. Okay, they
But that was part
signed
of the
Durant
plan.
knowing
Yeah.
he wasn't going to play. That's just not the right take. Do that next year,
Yeah.
sure. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can go out of next year. The only silver lining I think that was good from all this was the Nets showed now when they get their full roster, they're going to be extremely deep. I mean, and they
Yeah.
continue to develop players. Timothy Luwabu-Cabarrot, who was a cast-off with the Sixers, guy was putting up
Mm-hmm.
25 to 30 with the Nets. Now, I know it's because out of necessity, too. If they had other players, he wouldn't be doing that. The guy's a deadly shooter. I mean, I've after watching him, I'm like, I'd love to see him on this team with some stars around him. Guys
And
hit
Cheese.
open shots. Cheese is a decent look like he was tailed off at the
He's
end,
all
but
right. The backup, yeah.
when he wasn't the first option, he was coming in and he gave them like after watching Cheese, you were like, he's 100 times better than Theo. So I would say like the depth. I mean, in the
Yeah.
development of Karras. So after watching Karras, I'm like, if he's your third best player, like that's impressive.
It's pretty good. And then you have
That's pretty
Dinwiddie,
good.
and if you can bring back Joe Harris, and then you
Joe
got
Harris,
something.
Jared
And,
Allen.
yeah.
Remember Torian Prince wasn't there. I mean, not that
Mhm.
he was, but it's just the depth. You just look at the depth when you're like, okay, Torian Prince is your seventh best player, eighth best player, and he can come off the bench and help you out and score in bunches and can shoot. That's not bad. So
Mhm.
after watching the Raptors, I'm like, give them Serge Ibaka and let's go for our title. So
Well,
there you
honestly,
go.
yeah, no, honestly, and that's the thing. I didn't want to have. I'm all about windows at this point for the Knicks. Like, I don't want their window to be just 2 years, and especially Durant, where it's not even clear if the window's open because Durant may not come back as healthy as he was. But if he does come back healthy, it's still only going to be about a year or two that he's going to be Kevin Durant,
Mm-hmm.
because the natural age progression is going to sink in eventually, and So that's part of it. So you have to go all in this year and next year. So that's why overpaying for Pop and overpaying. There's no such thing as overpaying for Pop, but
Right.
you know, that's why you go get the legendary coach. You have, you know, you go and get, you know, Ibaka if you can. You try to overpay for Joe Harris to keep him. You know, you just have to go all. You have to when you do something like that. You can't half-ass it like the Mets in 2015. You know, you get to the World Series and then you're like, we'll bring some guys in. Well, we don't really need it. And now we're here. You know, so it's just like, you got to go all in when you have the windows. You know what I mean? So
I just hope
there's always a baseball reference in there somewhere. You know,
I just hope there is. You know, who knows when the NBA starts again next season when it finishes? I just if there's going to be a bubble again. I mean, it is annoying. Like, oh man, like if this was August 28th.
But it helps Durant too, pushing back the season. It helps him have more time. Durant,
I know, but I just want to watch.
At this point, you want to
watch Kevin Durant be a net.
I'm sure he does. He's ready to play too.
Oh, now he is. Yeah. Oh, now he is.
It's time. Yeah.
And also too,
any more is overkill. Yeah.
If the Nets brought their squad to the bubble, they could have won a title.
A title? You think so?
Or at least got into
they would competed. Yeah.
Because the league's so different. Teams are beating teams everywhere. Like I think they could have had some fun. If Durant was there and Kyrie was there and they brought their squad, they would have been in the mix.
Well, everybody reacts to what's in front of them, prisoners of the moment. Like with the Blazers, they're winning all these games. Like, oh, they're going to give the Lakers trouble, and they win that game. They didn't look scared, but I'm like, all right, guys, relax. You know, like LeBron James is going to turn it on. The Blazers have no shot. You know, the Nets winning a couple games in the bubble, and they're like, oh, look at the net. Like, all right, now the Raptors showed up. Now it's with the Raptors. The Raptors are crushed the Nets, and everybody's like, oh, the Raptors are have a point. You know, come on, guys, let's see what they do against the Celtics first. You know, like,
I'm a prisoner of the moment. Their defense is so good. That's the main. Well, I know it's boring.
I pride myself in that. I try not to be a prisoner of the moment. I try to like look at things holistically, and sometimes I become too much of a I can't think of the word. It's too early, but trying to take the other side too much sometimes. But at the same time, I try not to let myself get caught up in the moment, because it was like everybody was like the Blazers, and everybody was saying the Blazers. I'm like, the Lakers are going to win in 5, guys. Like, calm down, you know. Like,
that game one, and the game one and Lillard, it was hard not.
And
then
Lillard's hurt, but whatever. That sucks.
All right, Alex, you got your weekly poll question here for your New York Knicks fans.
Your New York Knicks. Okay, so Knicks fans. I always have to start off Knicks fans, because if I say that, then nobody else is going to respond. You know. So what do you want to do with the 8th pick this year in the draft? Draft the best player available. Draft the best point guard there. Trade it in a package to move up, or trade it in a package for players.
Draft the best player.
Yeah, that one
68%
by a large amount. 60.2% was number one. Draft the best player available. Draft the best point guard there was 18.5. Trade in a package to move up was 13.9, and trade in a package for players was 7.4. I didn't have enough space to do trade down, because some fans want to do that, trade down, get some more picks. I'm just like, just take your pick at this point, man. Just, let's just relax. The only way I want to make a trade the pick is if it is like, some trade that you can't even imagine that just shows up on your doorstep, So some fan responses. So we had Tobias at Ben's 24. Man, this is tough, because is there a chance we could get a diamond in the rough at or after the 8th, plus the college bracket tournament would have helped a shitload. Stating the obvious, though. But for me, it depends on what we can get with that pick if they do trade. Okay, then we have. So let me.
I'll make a Nets reference here. But when the Nets in 2001, they had, I think it was the 7th pick in the draft, 8th pick in the draft, and they dealt it to Houston. They got 3 players back in the trade, and that trade worked. And they traded Eddie Griffin, and they got Richard Jefferson, Jason Collins, and Brandon Armstrong back. Armstrong wasn't anything, but Collins was their starting center for the next 3 or 4 years when they went to 2 finals. And Richard Jefferson became a very good NBA player. So
I'd say
it isn't impossible. I'm not saying like if you can make it, like I use that trade as a reference because they traded back and got a better player. So and again, it's all about drafting and timing. So it's not. I wouldn't be like if the Knicks were to trade the 8th pick and they got a couple of picks and then made selections. Not those picks could be better. So you never know. Just had to make a
know with the 2. I said this on State of New York podcast yesterday. I want a point guard in this draft. It doesn't have to be 8, but if it's 27 or I always forget if it's 26 or 27. If it's 8 or 26 or 27, whatever pick it is, get me a point guard in this draft. Get me somebody. Get me somebody. It doesn't, give me Kira Lewis late in the draft if he falls. Give me just somebody like that. Just get it to me, and I need one. I need one in my life.
And just so Nick fans know, listening to this podcast, the Nets have the 19th pick in the NBA draft this year. And I know they don't even have their own, but they have Phillies.
They still have a pick,
and Philly highly underachieved. So I thought that net pick would be like 25, 26, but no, it's 19. So just want everybody to know
and that was in the East. Imagine what the Mavs are going to do in the West next year when the Knicks have their pick and hurt Porzingis.
It'll probably be 19th.
Probably. So then we have John Acevedo at Johnny Grayson 7. Honestly, it really depends. I like Maxey and Kira Lewis a bit right now. I liked Halliburton, but I don't know if he can fit this team because he is a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and we need more of our point guard. I am scared about Cole Anthony, honestly. Yeah, with Cole Anthony, I don't know if I want him because of the sentimental Greg Anthony connection, with the Knicks. But I do kind of want him, but I don't know if it's that. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like stuck on Cole Anthony a little bit.
Okay.
So we have Big Oso at AOSO520. I'd rather trade the pick for a used, unwanted player like Garland or Laurie. I would also take on bad contracts for picks. The Knicks aren't going to be good for years, and we need to build the draft. So that's a very, very negative take.
That's my favorite one so far.
Yeah, that's probably you probably wrote that in your burner account.
Yeah, I got it. Maybe I should start doing that. Create a burner account and see if I can get you and get on the podcast. That's not a terrible idea. I'm gonna try that. If I get some free time, I might think about that.
Yeah, that'd be funny. All right, so then we have I'll do 2 more. So we have Skipper at NYK Skip. One thing I'm sure is whoever votes for the last one is fucking dumb.
Okay.
That is trading package for players. Then we have Dual RIS at D1MYC. What? Sell the team is not an option? Okay. It's just that joke's getting a little old. Okay, here we go. Let me do a real one. Somebody who's taking it seriously. He goes, Will I is at Will T128. He goes, BPA, this team needs a horde of assets and evaluate each one for the long run. That's good. Then let's see. I didn't do a good job of planning this out before. Let's see. So we have, last one. All right. So we go live, love, respect at Simon TSR. Damn, 8 shit. That's all he says. That pretty much, sums up what we're.
Good poll question, Alex.
Yeah. Thanks.
I voted.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm. I voted for
this one. I don't like
the one
Here's
that won.
One. This one I don't like, but I'll read it. Knicks Tate 2K20 at Tate 2K20. BPA and signed Van Vliet. That's what he says.
What was the first part?
BPA. So take the best player available and sign for Fred Van Vliet, which I don't agree with. But
no, I know you don't. No, I know you want Joe Harris at the max, but you don't want.
No, not the max, man.
Well, that's what he's getting. He's a max guy.
Yeah.
No, he's not a max guy. All right, this has been Bad Weather Fans episode number 25 with Mike and Alex. Don't forget, give a 5-star rating. Go ahead, leave a comment as well. We always appreciate that, and it goes a long way in the Apple podcast processes. That makes sense. You can find this podcast on all major platforms, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course, the aforementioned Apple Podcast. Don't forget to go to theprosclub.com. That's where you can check out other great content on there, like Outside the Box, Real Talk Basketball with Rex Walters, who he has former Knicks head coach David Fizdale on his podcast this past week. So I think Knicks fans might be interested in that. Just go to theprosclub.com. You can find find the podcast, or type in Real Talk Basketball with Rex Walters. You'll find it again on all major platforms. Alex, and then also I know you were on another podcast yourself, and I know you had referenced them a couple times throughout this one, but give people a spot where they can find you and hear that conversation.
So it's going to be on the State of the New York Knicks podcast. My boy Slizzy is the host. It is episode 104. And we had a great time, just 2 Knicks fans and our passion, and we gave you a couple shout outs on there, Mike, too. I said Mike, and he goes, the Nets fan. He said, Slizzy's funny.
The heel.
Yeah. But he's a big fan of the show too here.
Great.
So, shout out to Slizzy. It was a
Nice.
lot of fun. If you want to listen to just pure Knicks talk and no net stuff involved, and check it out.
You're trying to wean me out, is what you're saying. Fine. I
Getting
get
Wally
it.
pipped by Slizzy.
I've been Wally pipped by Slizzy. Things I thought I'd be saying at 7 a.m. All right, Alex. Good stuff as always. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time off, and we will talk next week.
All right. Have a good one.